Stark Memorial Hospital has been serving the community for over 40 years. As a 300-bed facility, it's the primary trauma center for 3 counties, handling everything from routine surgeries to life-threatening emergencies. The hospital recently completed a major digital transformation, connecting everything from patient monitors to medication dispensing systems to their electronic health record (EHR) platform. This connectivity has improved patient care dramatically, but it has also created new vulnerabilities. In the emergency department, Dr. Sarah Chen is treating a car accident victim while 2 floors up. The ICU team monitors 5 critical patients. The hospital never sleeps, and neither do the systems that keep it running. In the basement IT server room, cooling fans hum quietly while thousands of network connections pulse with the steady rhythm of digital life. The IT department, led by a small but dedicated team, manages over 2,000 connected devices across the hospital network. From MRI machines worth millions to simple blood pressure monitors, nearly everything now feeds data into the central systems. The recent ransomware attacks on other hospitals have been a wake-up call, but budget constraints have limited their cybersecurity investments. They've implemented basic protections, firewalls, antivirus, and employee training, but advanced threat detection and response capabilities remain aspirational rather than operational. The hospital's crown jewel is their integrated patient care system, a sophisticated network that allows doctors to access patient records, order medications, and coordinate care seamlessly across departments. Like most healthcare organizations, Stark Memorial operates on thin margins. It's 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. The night shift is in full swing. Night shift nurse Maria Rodriguez is trying to access patient records when her workstation screen flickers and goes black. A moment later, a message appears in bold red letters. Your files have been encrypted. To recover your data, you must pay $2.5 million in Bitcoin. Within minutes, reports flood in from across the hospital. Workstations in the pharmacy, laboratory, radiology, and even the cafeteria are displaying the same ransom message. The hospital's digital nervous system is shutting down, one computer at a time. Maria stares at the screen in disbelief. She tries to log out and back in, but the message persists. Heart racing, she calls out to her colleague, "Hey David, is your computer working?" The response sends chills down her spine. "No, mine's down too, and it's showing some weird message about paying money." The night supervisor, Thomas Johnson, realizes the magnitude of the crisis. He immediately activates the hospital's emergency communication tree, starting with the IT director. But when he tries to access the hospital's contact database, his computer shows the dreaded ransom screen. Your phone rings at 3:15 a.m. As the Chief Information Security Officer, you've been expecting this call for months, hoping it would never come, but knowing it probably would. The caller ID shows Stark Memorial's main number, and your stomach drops before you even answer. "This is Tom Johnson, night supervisor. We have a major problem. Our computers are down hospital-wide, and there's a message demanding money. We need you here immediately." You're out of bed and getting dressed before Tom finishes explaining. Your mind races through the hospital's business continuity plan as you drive through the empty streets. Patient safety is paramount. People could die if critical systems remain down for too long. But paying the ransom isn't just about money. It's about potentially funding criminal organizations, and there's no guarantee the attackers will honor their agreement. You arrive at the hospital to find controlled chaos. The emergency department has switched to paper charts, but the electronic medication dispensing system is locked down. Nurses are manually tracking patient vitals, and the laboratory can't access test results from the past 6 hours. Most concerning, the patient monitoring systems in the ICU are displaying error messages. The incident response team assembles in the conference room adjacent to the IT department. Dr. Jennifer Foster, the chief medical officer, arrives looking exhausted but determined. "We need to know how long before we can get systems back online," she says immediately. "We have 5 patients in the ICU on life support, and while the machines are still working, we can't access their electronic records or adjust medications through the system." Your IT director, Michael Thompson, has been on site since 3:30 a.m. He provides a grim initial assessment. The ransomware appears to have hit about 80% of our networked systems. The good news is that the medical devices themselves are still functioning. They are on a separate network segment like we planned. But everything connected to the main network is encrypted. The hospital's CEO, Catherine Williams, joins the call remotely. Her first question cuts right to the heart of the matter. What's our exposure? Can we continue operating, and for how long? You establish the war room in the executive conference room with secure communication channels and backup power. The incident response team includes representatives from IT, clinical operations, legal, public relations, and administration. Everyone understands the stakes. This isn't just about data. It's about lives. The Clinical Operations Director, Dr. Robert Martinez, reports from the emergency department. We've implemented paper protocols, but it's slowing everything down. We can handle current patients, but if we get a multi-casualty incident, we're going to be in serious trouble. How long before we can get the trauma alert system back online? You explained that the priority is containing the attack and assessing the damage before attempting restoration. If we bring systems back online too quickly, we risk reinfection. We need to understand how they got in first. Michael discovers the likely entry point, a phishing email that installed remote access software on a workstation in the billing department. From there, the attackers moved laterally through the network over several days, mapping systems and identifying high-value targets before deploying the ransomware. The pressure mounts as reports come in from department heads. The pharmacy can't process new prescriptions electronically. The laboratory is running tests but can't digitally report results. Surgery schedules are in chaos because the operating room management system is down. Dr. Foster pulls you aside. We need to consider patient transfers. If we can't get core systems back online within 12 hours, we may need to start moving critical patients to other facilities. But that's incredibly risky, and frankly, I'm not sure the other hospitals in the region have capacity. The legal team, led by General Counsel Lisa Davis, raises additional concerns. We have HIPAA notification. Requirements if patient data was accessed. We need to determine if this was just encryption or if data was actually stolen. Also, we need to consider reporting requirements to H and potentially the FBI. Public Relations Director Amanda Stone is fielding calls from local media. The story is already breaking. We need a statement that explains what happened without causing panic. Families are calling asking if their loved ones are safe. The CEO returns to the hospital and convenes an emergency board meeting. The discussion is tense. Pay the ransom to restore systems quickly, or refuse and potentially face weeks of manual operations while rebuilding systems from backups. Board member Dr. Patricia Anderson, herself a physician, argues for payment. $2.5 million is a lot of money, but how do we put a price on patient safety? If someone dies because we can't access their medical history, Board Chairman James Wilson counters, if we pay, we're funding criminal organizations. Plus, there's no guarantee they'll actually decrypt our files. We could lose the money and still have to rebuild everything. The FBI arrives to begin their investigation. Special Agent Karen Mitchell explains their position. We strongly advise against paying ransoms. It encourages more attacks and funds criminal enterprises. However, we understand the unique circumstances hospitals face. Meanwhile, your team works frantically to isolate clean systems and begin restoration from backups. The challenge is enormous. The hospital's backup systems are partially encrypted too, and the most recent clean backups are from 4 days ago. Dr. Foster reports an escalating crisis. We've had to put 3 elective surgeries on hold because we can't access the patient's complete medical histories, and the ICU team is manually calculating medication dosages because the computerized physician order entry system is down. The decision weighs heavily on you. Every minute of delay potentially impacts patient care, but rushing the restoration could make things worse. You coordinate with the clinical team to prioritize which systems are most critical for patient safety. After 18 hours of intense work, your team successfully restores core patient care systems using a combination of backup restoration and manual data recovery. The decision was made not to pay the ransom, despite enormous pressure from various stakeholders. The restoration process revealed both strengths and weaknesses in the hospital's preparation. The network segmentation that protected medical devices from encryption was crucial. It prevented the attack from directly impacting life support systems. However, the interconnected nature of administrative and clinical systems created cascading failures that impacted patient care. Dr. Foster addresses the medical staff. While this was incredibly challenging, I'm proud of how our clinical teams responded. We reverted to paper protocols seamlessly, and most importantly, we maintained patient safety throughout the crisis. No patient outcomes were compromised due to the cyber attack. The FBI investigation reveals that the attack was part of a larger campaign targeting healthcare organizations. The attackers had spent weeks inside the network, studying the hospital's systems and identifying the most impactful targets. This intelligence gathering phase had gone undetected by the hospital's existing security monitoring. 3 months later, the hospital board approves a comprehensive cybersecurity enhancement plan. The budget includes advanced threat detection systems, security operations center services, and regular penetration testing. More importantly, the hospital establishes a dedicated cybersecurity role reporting directly to the CEO. CEO Catherine Williams addresses the staff at the quarterly all-hands meeting. The ransomware attack tested us in ways we never imagined, but it also showed us the strength of our team and the importance of preparation. We've learned that cybersecurity isn't just an IT issue, it's a patient safety issue. Thanks to the leadership of our incident response team and the dedication of our clinical staff, we not only survived this crisis but emerged stronger. The hospital's story becomes a case study in healthcare cybersecurity resilience. Your leadership during the crisis leads to recognition from the Healthcare Information and Management Systems Society hymns and speaking opportunities at national conferences. But most importantly, the experience transforms how Stark Memorial approaches cybersecurity. The hospital becomes a regional leader in healthcare cybersecurity, sharing lessons learned with other facilities and contributing to industry-wide improvements in cyber resilience. 6 months later, when another hospital in the region faces a similar attack, they call you for guidance. You realize that the crisis that once seemed like a career-ending disaster has become the foundation for a new chapter in healthcare cybersecurity leadership.